Right, exactly. I came out ahead.
Yeah, I actually have the hardest thing for me is that.
Why don't you guys save it for the show?
Okay, sorry. I thought we were started already.
No, I'm starting us now.
I think we already started and Rene needs to catch up.
I'm catching up.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Phil.
Hey everyone, welcome to Zen and Tech. We are doing another Mobile Nations Fitness Month special. This week it's all about nutrition, and the one, the only, Phil Nickinson from Android Central is joining us.
I'm pretty sure I'm on the wrong show, man. Is this not the one where we talk about Android for an hour? I thought Georgia was here just because I hadn't seen her in forever and she missed me.
Yeah, she displays Jerry.
I do miss you.
We're talking about jelly beans, Phil, but not the good kind.
Jelly beans are tasty.
I like jelly beans.
All right, so Georgia, before we get started, can you give us the foundation, the basics on why is nutrition important? How does it affect us physiologically and psychologically?
Well, what we eat one is, not eating or starving yourself, our blood sugar levels drop, which is really bad for our mood and can increase depression. 2, being too thin is actually really bad because we keep a lot of hormones in our fat, especially the ones that keep us happy. So when they talk about people being too thin and they're kind of grumpy and foul, that's true. You want to reach some sort of level of stability. Phil's like smiling at that part.
I hate grumpy, skinny people.
I feel very happy.
There's a reason Santa's got chubby red cheeks.
I know, right? That and the booze.
What you want to do is you want to eat mindfully. So that's my main thought now about eating, is that I want to be mindful of the manner in which I eat and what I eat. So you want to, it takes so long. Why we often overeat is that, food was scarce and foods that were high in caloric value were also either fatty or very sweet. So we're kind of crave that in times of stress. Makes us feel good, so we would eat more of that type of food. Which is great, but we no longer have a food shortage. And so now with our cravings for fat, sugary foods, such as a deep fried O. Henry bar, which is delicious, by the way, but bad for you, we will want to eat more of it than our caloric value needs are met. And it takes us about 20 minutes before our blood sugar levels, which we rate to say if we're full. One is by our stomach being full, and the second is by our blood sugar levels. So because that takes 20 minutes, by the time we actually stop eating and say we're full, we're actually over full. And then after 20 minutes later, we feel much worse. So
our bodies betray us, basically. Our bodies are not on the same team. We are not working together on this.
They were great for times when food is scarce. They're not great for times when food is plentiful, but through most of our existence when we were evolving, that wasn't the case. So
right, I mean, it's not the 1800s anymore.
No, we're no longer cavemen.
Phil, you have been with me at trade shows, especially in the press room where there is no food.
Mm-hmm. My joke is, on all these events we go to, is I'm not sure what suffers worse, my liver, my kidneys,
or your feet.
Well, no, my feet are doing better. I mean, we're really just doubly hard on ourselves at these things because, you don't have time to pee, so your kidneys are bursting all day, and then you go out at night and you go to all these events and there are just drinks everywhere, so you're drinking all night long, and that really isn't that good for you anyway. I mean, my problem, look, I used to, believe it or not, there are pictures out there that prove this. I used to, play a hell of a lot of soccer.
I have seen these pictures. They're true.
Right, and I weighed 130 pounds, and the problem was I quit playing soccer, and I started working a lot, and, it was a desk job, it was a night job, and we ate like crap, and what Georgia says is absolutely true, and if you look at it from a macro level, it still catches up to you. You wake up and you're 30 years old, and you're like, why the hell do I look like this? And you're not quite sure why. It's like, I didn't feel like that 20 minutes ago. Damn it, Georgia was right.
Plus, our metabolism slows down as we get older, so we're not burning as much, and if we're not moving anymore, we're kind of causing a self-fulfilling prophecy. Plus, if you're used to eating a lot of food, we do not get full. We expect more food to fill our stomachs in order to get full. So then we can talk about the nutrients and if we're eating the healthy nutrients to feed our body what we need. So I'm on iron supplements. I take probably... a vampire could probably die from drinking from me. I'm so iron poor. But I take 600 milligrams of iron a day, which is I think it's 18 milligrams that a pregnant woman takes.
It's like half a nail.
Half a nail, it's probably like a full horse. So because of that, you really want to make sure that you can get the right nutrients, but it made a big difference to my own energy levels and how I felt.
My problem has been kickstarting my metabolism because I haven't regularly exercised in so long, and I got used to eating literally one meal a day for I don't know how many years when I worked in the newspaper and worked at night. Especially because we'd be out till 4 or 5 in the morning afterwards, right? So you don't eat breakfast, you don't eat lunch, you eat one huge meal, and your metabolism just and I can still live on that.
When
it's
would
not
you eat
good.
it? Would it be like at the end of the day then, or would it be at the beginning? Or
no, I would eat generally probably around 7, maybe 8 o'clock at night at the latest because I worked at night. But even I haven't done that in 3-4 years, and even then, it's still hard. Making that cycle stop and convincing your body that it needs to eat, you need to exercise and get it. And it's funny because, like, my exercise cycles, every 3 months I'll be like, all right, I'm going to go out and walk 3 miles a day or whatever, and I can already feel it. I'm hungrier every day, but it's like, well, I don't want to eat that much. It's a pain eating. It's a lot of work, especially if you want to try to eat stuff that's not crap and tastes good. And I like to eat. I like food. I like good food, but it's work. It's a lot of work to do, and we're lazy.
It's not just lazy. I mean, like, I wake up in the morning with the best of intentions. I'm going to exercise and eat right. And then immediately, I'll just check the site. And then, this story needs to be done. That has to be done. And then all of a sudden, it's lunchtime. And then I'm going to go for lunch and get a walk in. And then all of a sudden, it's 3 p.m. And it's insidious.
I actually, that's probably one of my biggest issues. Usually I eat relatively healthy, though, a glazed donut here or there might call to me. But I will not usually overeat. What I have working for me is that I will stop eating no matter what's on my plate when I'm full. I'm not going to eat more than what I want to eat. And I'm pretty good now at being mindful of what I eat, like thinking about what I eat and how does it make me feel. Because if it's going to make me feel horrible after, why should I bother eating it? So that I'm really good with. But where I work, I get fed, which is really nice. I get fed lunch. But I have sessions that are back to back, and so because of that, I will often skip the lunch period, and then I'm like snacking on those little snack bars in between the day, which is really not that healthy. They're filled with sugar and carbs and not really good for me. So having healthy food that I can snack on through the day if I happen to miss my lunch period is my thing. Something that's fast, efficient, quick, and healthy. And there's a lot of.
The number one thing we could do would be get rid of the soft drinks, right? I mean, because that's just so easy and quick sugar.
Easy. It's about 15 pounds a year as well. You can lose 15 pounds just by cutting out soft drinks. But the twist is it's not just soft drinks. Juice is just as bad as a soft drink for your system. Now, you might be getting like vitamin C in it, but there's just as much sugar on a soft drink as there is in a Coke.
I look at it with my kids, right? I mean, it's like, it's juice. It should be okay. And it's like, no, there are like 15 different kinds of kid juice. And it's a big pain.
Yes.
It's a huge pain.
Yes.
High fructose corn syrup.
Yes. Which is probably one of the worst things because you crave so badly on it. But what you want to do is you want to have it to be, water is great for you. And even milk, there's a lot of calories in milk. So you want to watch if your child is not a really good eater, then you want to watch if they drink a lot of milk because that's then replacing, which is very healthy for you, but it might also replace a meal. So I try to do just water and have water in the house. And then every now and then a treat would be a soft drink for me. And the same thing with alcohol. A lot of calories in alcohol. There's a lot of sugar in alcohol.
Yeah, don't tell me that.
Sorry.
A lot of alcohol in alcohol too.
But again, in moderation, having a glass of wine is really healthy for you. You have a lot of antioxidants. It's actually good for your blood pressure if you have high blood pressure.
I'm sorry, you said a bottle of wine?
Not a bottle of wine. And it should be red wine versus white wine, which is healthier for you. And for men, green tea also is really good for you.
I like
women,
green tea.
it's kind of like there on the study.
Is stress eating true, or is that an urban myth? Will we eat to replace other things? Like, will we eat? Like, a lot of us, we work at home, we work alone, or we work around family, and we're in very stressful situations. It might sound funny. It might sound like we're complaining like it's supermodel jobs. We get to write about technology all the time. Oh, woe is us. But it is stressful. It is nonstop, and we're either all alone or surrounded by people. And I've heard that, you'll eat out of stress, or you'll eat out of not being around people. You'll eat, like, when you're around people to keep them from bothering you.
Some people are different. Phil, do you stress eat?
I don't think I do, and I don't stress very well anyway. I mean, and this goes back to my previous job in the newspaper. It's just a part of the job, right? You learn to work with it. I think. I mean, I think our problem has always been decompressing later. Over many beers. It's always the issue, but not so much eating, because eating was always kind of in the way. Just you have better things to do, like you just shove stuff in, and there's another thing, right? I mean, chewing your food slower, slowing the hell down when you. And I always had this problem because I'd love to eat. I remember even back when I was traveling playing soccer, and I traveled to do this, right? Not quite as much as I do now, but I remember we would be like at a Waffle House at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm just shoving stuff in because, damn, it tastes good.
Yes,
it's like I got to eat all this before I get full, because I knew I shouldn't eat it.
You're trying to beat the 20-minute mark down.
Yeah, well, and back then I could eat whatever I wanted. It did not matter. But
you were in perpetual
I would feel so
deficit.
awful. Yeah, just
just burning it off really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely true, though.
Yeah. So for some people, they stress eat. They eat more when they're feeling anxious to help deal with the blood sugar levels. Plus, food is comforting to us. So in that way they do. I'm the opposite. When I'm really stressed, I can't eat. I can't digest well, and I won't feel good, and so I will not eat when I'm stressed, which can cause the opposite problem. So I'll have a blood sugar drop, not a mass of blood sugar that's kind of running through my system. Either way, it's actually really unhealthy for the manner in which you deal with it, because then I'll be starving, and then I'll overeat at that period of time, instead of just keeping my blood sugar level even and having like little snack foods that are throughout the day that you're dealing with. But I think that you're right, Phil, like the mindful eating, like the thinking about what you eat and trying to chew it and taste your food, which I don't think, some people just don't do it. Like they'll just like take an entire broccoli and just shove it in their mouth, and then their broccoli's gone. It's like really, really quick, and it's kind of like dealt with.
She's looking at me because I have learned to eat so quickly and so interstitially because I'm always working that it's become almost like you stop off at a fuel station, fill up quickly, and then tear off down the road. It's not a human thing anymore.
Man, you know what I had the other day?
What did you have?
Some friends of ours have a vegetable garden, and they brought over some broccoli. So it's homegrown broccoli. It was so good. Awesome. It was so much better than anything in a bag. It's amazing how much of a difference that can make.
Yeah, it's real food.
Yes, exactly. Delicious. Well, I made homemade meatballs the other day. They were probably the best meatballs I've ever made because I made them with veal, beef, and turkey, ground turkey, and they were fabulously delicious. And I wanted to eat them. Like I wanted to eat them just because they tasted so very amazing that here I am having like 3 of them with a huge bowl of pasta, well beyond what I did, and I suffered for it later. But I try to remember, okay, try not to do that again, because in the end, wasting something on your plate is a better choice than using your body like a garbage can.
But don't we see that from like kids? Like you'll see kids eating a slice of cake and looking at how much cake is left because they want to eat the first one so badly they get the second one, even though they haven't enjoyed the first one by doing it.
Yeah, I think I talked about this on another show, but I'll bring it up because it's one of my biggest pet peeves, is that we teach children to eat everything on their plate if they want to have dessert. So we're teaching children such a horrible habit of not listening to your body, eating more than you want to on your plate, and then stuffing your face filled with dessert, which they will do just because that's the treat. And then for all the rest of their lives, they're going to try to learn to listen to their bodies and not overeat and, have the dessert later if they're full. It's almost starting them up for disaster, as like childhood diabetes and obesity is probably one of the largest issues raging youth today. So that's my.
And I've got something wrong in my brain that I know does that. Because I see, I have a plate in front of me. I have to eat everything on it, right? If I got a bowl of ice cream in front of me, it's all gone. If I have a drink in front of me, doesn't matter what it is. I fill it up all the way. I empty it all the way. And I don't know why. I've never, asked or understood, but it's just a weird thing. And I mean, it's not like compulsive. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Giorgio said this thing a couple of shows ago that you shouldn't treat your body like a trash can. And then I think it was the homework, but I deliberately left half my food on the plate just to train myself not to finish stuff. And I did that for a week or two.
How hard was that for you?
It was hard initially just because I'd forget about it. But after a while, it just became like I just started shoving stuff aside. I'm done. And it became much easier.
I think for a lot of people it's guilt, that they feel guilty about what they would consider wasting, which again, if you're dealing with a starvation or your family came from lived through a war or lived through poverty or other things, it was wasting. There might not be another meal and there might not be other food. So you want to, at that point...
There are children starving in another part of the world.
Right. Me treating my body like a garbage can is not going to feed them. And now I'm going to have to exercise, like a few bites of a donut. It's like 15 minutes of jogging, which I won't do. So it's just a really self-defeating prophecy for me. So it doesn't feed those other people in Africa if I'm going to gain weight where I don't want it or just eat when I'm not, happy to eat it. So, yeah, I always try to, stop and leave it and not feel guilty about it. Phil, do you feel guilty about it when you leave, if you have, a little bit left and you're kind of feeling full, or is it just habit?
No, I mean, I don't feel guilty. And I've gotten better about it over the years. Right. Now my wife's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Is it not good?
Is she Italian, Phil?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Manja. You don't like the food?
Yeah,
Manja.
there's not even any question then, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just something to be mindful of. And again, I think it really comes back to thinking about what you're eating and what you're doing. One thing we didn't talk about is planning what you're going to eat, because that can make a huge difference. So you're not just grabbing crap. You plan your meals out, plan your portions out. And listen to the fat guy telling you this, but it makes sense, right?
But it's not even about being healthy. And I'm going to say this because I should have probably said this before. It isn't really the reason that I care about it is not about body size. I would like everyone to be happy in their body size, but it isn't about being buff. It's about being honest with yourself and feeling good about what you are, whatever body size that you will. Of course, if you eat less, yes, you might lose weight and or gain weight because of that. But you can be healthy and have more adipose tissue on you, and that's fine. There's nothing really wrong about that. So good advice is just good advice. Always following it is horrible. I remember my doctor taking my blood test, and I did really well. And she's like, "Oh, you must have a great diet." And I said, "Well, I guess a McDonald's diet works for me." She was quite offended by my response, but at the time I wasn't eating healthy at all. I would come home from jiu-jitsu
3-protein diet.
I'd take a whole 2 liters of Coke with a huge straw. I would drink the entire 2 liters. And I was thrilled with that. That was just fine for me.
Your pancreas must hate you.
They really did.
If she has one left.
Really did. Yeah, it's probably already gone. It's probably dropped off and died by now. But abandoned ship.
To pick up what Phil said about planning, you gave that as a tip for something else. It was for finance and budget, that if you go into a store with no idea what you're buying, you'll buy a bunch of stuff that you won't use and you end up wasting your money. But if you plan your meals and you buy only what you're going to cook, not only is it better nutritionally, but you save money as well. It's like a double win. Yeah,
I try to buy, one is I'll buy treats for myself, but treats that I can afford to eat. So nothing that is horrifically bad. And I know people are going to send me hate mail about this, but I'll trash stuff. If when I'm done having my 2 donuts and there's still 6 donuts left, I'm going to throw out the box of donuts because it's just done. It's a little bit of a treat. If it's something that's my guilty pleasure and I know that I've already overdone it, I'll just toss the rest of it
I'll do the same. I have relatives who'll bring over stuff that I know that if they leave it in my house, I will eat it. Like giant tubs of ice cream, big bags of cookies, and I will ruin it. I will open it up, turn it upside down, put it in the thing, break the cookies open, shove them in the garbage, so that there's absolutely no way that a human being could eat them ever again.
So you're not going to go back and rescue them later?
If they're there, I'm going to eat them. It's just, if they're in the house, I'm going to eat them, so I just don't keep them in the house.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that it feels absolutely right. Don't go shopping when you're hungry, first of all, because when your blood sugar's low, everything looks tasty. You'll buy stuff that's there. But I like to buy things, I will, at my stage, because I can afford to, and this is always what you want to deal with, is I will buy things that are healthy and closer to ready-made. So I'll buy chopped vegetables if I don't think that I'll chop them myself, or ready-made salads, that are already cut and washed, because I hate washing salad. Washing romaine lettuce is a torture to me, and I won't eat the salad if I have to. So I'll buy the ready-made washed ones, because for me it's better to eat a little healthier versus eating something that I'm going to have to clean and then I'll leave it there. It will rot, and I'll go and grab something else that's an unhealthy treat instead. So I try to think about it as what meals I'm going to have, what treats I can have, and then I put them close to me. I like the little veggie dips, veggies with a dip. And so I'll put them really close to where I am because, if I have to walk to get the chocolate, I won't. I'll eat the veggies. Because I'm lazier than I am hungry.
Phil, are there apps that you use? Are there good Android apps that help with nutrition or help with fitness in general? What are your favorites?
Probably.
Yep. Well, no, I've seen them on Android Central. I'm a reader.
Yeah, no. There, I mean, just search, right? There's any number of, calorie counters just out the wazoo. I'm trying to think. And I tell you what, that's the one thing I think we tend to ignore as we're talking about the tech of all this, and we're looking at Fitbits and FuelBands and all these little gadgets. Not a single one of them does a damn thing to keep me from putting something stupid in my mouth.
The Hannibal Lecter gadget hasn't been invented.
I was at these meetings last week, and we had some exercise where we had to come up with a service, some sort of new service. And the one we kind of came up with was using your phone to take a picture of your food, and it would go through a database and figure out what it was you're eating. Now, some of this is pie in the sky stuff, and then give you the calorie count and stuff like that. But I mean, there's nothing good for that, right? I mean, this thing on my wrist doesn't, I don't look at it as it's holding a donut and bringing it closer to my head. Right. I mean, maybe if it makes the donut hit me in the side of the head instead of landing in my mouth, it would be, worth something. But right, I mean, there's no real, you are the tech for that. There's no shortcut.
No.
Yeah, I don't find that any of them work. I like using Epicurious, and other things just to find a really tasty meal that might be healthy. That works well for me. But I don't find that, I'm already bothered by having to do the meal. I'm not going to input the data. Truly, actually, right. I like the one that you talked about, Phil, that would, if it really would see what I'm eating and would tell me how many calories that is.
Put the poutine down, beep. Put the poutine down, beep.
Then I would do it, yeah. Yeah. And the same thing if it was no, now you're close to your thing instead of if it gave me healthy alternatives, so I wanted to use,
right,
say butter, and it's no, use this instead, danger, you're at your calorie count. I think that would be beneficial for me, but it's almost more effort for me to input the data, and so I won't.
And that was a big part of what we talked about, actually. But yeah, it's very much, it keeps coming down to us being lazy.
How'd you like the FuelBand, Phil?
The FuelBand's not bad. I kind of like the gamification of it. Today's actually the first day I haven't worn it in a long time, and I just wanted to try go a day without it. It's uncomfortable.
Is it?
It's really
rigid.
It's rigid.
Yeah.
I was on an airplane the other day coming home.
It's not too bad for me.
Right. No, I was coming home on an airplane the other day, and it was just torture because you can't have really good posture on an airplane, and keyboards are just in different positions I'm used to, and it was not good. There's no Android aspect to it, which, for better or for worse.
The iOS aspect is horrible because it only lets you use Facebook as a connection medium, and I don't want to use that.
Yeah. Oh, did it? Yeah, I couldn't remember how I set it up.
You have to go to the web if you want to use anything besides Facebook, so I just don't bother using the app.
Yeah.
No, I don't use the app at all.
I've got it on there just to try it, but yeah, I don't actually use it. Now, I mean, so you've got all these gadgets, and last year I used a Fitbit, but I lost it because it was too small. At least like a bracelet type thing, I think you're less prone to lose. But I think I don't know the phones are the right answer. I'm not sure if I want something constantly monitoring me like that, but again, it's going to be in my pocket probably more often than anything else.
I mean, we saw the Happy Fork at CES where it would vibrate in your mouth if you were eating too fast.
Yeah, what a horrible idea.
Well, I mean, it operantly could condition me, but it seems a little bit intrusive too.
Well, I mean, you could put a shock collar on my chair or something too, I guess.
That would get me up. If they gamified it, if it was actually fun, I would do it. If I inputted that I put 4 things that were healthy in the day, and I would start getting achievements for that I could do. And if I was battling other people by eating healthy and exercising, I would probably be all a go. If I could, kill off other people that are playing the game by, doing 10 push-ups and, I don't know, sending some sort of...
So wait, are you saying that if instead of Candy Crunch there was Health Food Crunch, you'd be all over that?
Yeah, if there was a way to gamify it, I think that I would go for it. Something that would say, go, eat this, and if you do...
So the one thing, though, that's a constant is that we're real lazy and we don't want to do any more work than we have to. And is there a sense that, we're not taking personal responsibility for this? Because if we can't even keep track of our calories, if we want to photograph our food, if we want to be murder people to get, rewards for eating healthily, what does that say about us as humanity, as people?
It's not good, and something needs to change, and I don't know what. I mean, they say obesity is an epidemic. I mean, it's not just an epidemic. It's
It's
obvious.
People at the end of WALL-E.
Yeah, no, it's obvious, and I tell you, especially as I get to meet people from other countries, and I mean, not that the few people I meet are necessarily indicative of anything, but I mean, as a country and as a culture, we are very comfortable. We are very, let's say it, we're lazy.
Yeah.
And you guys are in Canada, so you can talk crap about me all you want
We're
right now,
lazy
I
and
guess.
cold.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not just the U.S., right? But I think the U.S. has a better means for it than other places. And I mean, we need to do something. I look down at myself, and I need to do something. I need to do something for myself. I need to do it for my kids, and it's going to be a generational thing. You need to. I don't know what we can do to keep these 32-ounce drinks from being normal. And
maybe our kids will rebel by getting fit.
Though I don't think that it is like banning them, such as they did in New York, is like the way either. Like, yes, I think that
I get the sentiment, but yeah, that's not the best way to go about
it. It's a picket fence episode if I've ever missed one.
Yeah. I have some good tricks and tips to help kind of trick our mind into thinking that we are eating more and to be more full while we do it. So I'm going to throw them out there, and people can give them a shot and see if it works. And Phil, I would actually love to see if you could try any of them and let me know if they're like helpful or not at all.
I will.
Okay, so one of them is by using a smaller plate. Especially if you are the type of person that will eat everything that's on your plate. We fill up larger plates. We like to see things as full. So even if you have a huge plate and you just put a little bit on it, you feel like you're losing out. So if you use, say, a side plate for your main dish, usually we will eat less. And then the second thing is take half of what you think you want and say to yourself, I'll finish my drink if you have water. Or drink slowly, and then after that, I will go up for more if I so wish, which slows down that period of time in between. And again, this is using our laziness towards good, because we're lazy to get up, and you should always get your own food, not have someone else do it for you, so that, again, you have to go against your own laziness to deal with it. And so odds are you won't go up for that extra bit because you're going to be a little bit more full, and there's less of a chance that you're going to get as large of a piece as what you expected. Another one is to eat slowly and think two things. One is, am I enjoying what I'm eating? And try to think, what are the ingredients that I'm eating with it? So really deal with chewing well, taking your time to eat slowly, and enjoy the sensation of eating, which we often don't do if we're
butter.
Just wolfing down. I love butter. Butter's delicious.
Nice. All right, so those 3 tips: smaller plates, smaller portions, and be more in the moment and enjoy what you're eating.
Yeah. And say to yourself, did I feel good after I ate this? There's certain foods I don't eat anymore because I don't feel good when I'm done with eating them. And so some I might, I still love to have a poutine, but I might not have the entire poutine because of that.
You can share. You can have a romantic shared poutine.
Exactly. Steal a poutine. It's even better.
Phil, where can we find out more about you and more about all the stuff that you do at Android Central?
I'm generally next to the refrigerator, I think. No, Android Central, Google Plus, Phil Nickinson, Twitter, Phil Nickinson.
All the Phil Nickinsons are you.
Yell at me if you see me eating something I shouldn't. I won't care, but yell at me. It'll make you feel better.
And Georgia, how about you?
Just yell at Phil, even if you don't want to.
Basically, yeah.
Georgia, where can we find you, and what's your new Twitter name?
Oh, my new Twitter name, it's @Georgia_Prime. So, yes, my Georgia Tippy it's gone. A little rusty.
It's been trashed. Yeah.
I know. I was sad. It's a little bit hard to let go. And you can also find me on iMore.
Nice. You can find me at Rene Ritchie. You can find all of us at iMore and at Mobile Nations. And for all of our shows, including Android Central, linchpinned by Phil Nickinson, the iMore show, Zen and Tech, Iterate, Debug, WP Central, Crackberry, and all the rest, just go to mobilenations.com/shows. If you haven't already, go to your favorite Mobile Nations site. Check out all the Fitness Week stuff. We have contests, a bunch of different contests going on this week, 3 of them, I think. So make sure you enter them all. And we'll be back next week with Daniel Rubino talking about sleep and relaxation. And he was a sleep tech, so it should be a great episode.
That's so cool. Yeah.
He puts me and Phil to sleep all the time, so it's going to be a great episode.
First time we shared a hotel room, I was like, you're not going to sit up all night and just watch me, are you?
That's so many
He's like,
levels
dude,
of
pay
creepy.
me.
He says he didn't, but how do I know? I'll just leave that out there for you guys for next
for everyone
week.
to think about. Yeah. This show could be changed to be called Intimate Moments with Phil.
Nice.
That's a whole nother show right there.